IVM.
Hi everybody, just wanted to ask everyone for a quick favor. We're running a brand survey right now and would really appreciate it if you could let us know what you think about the advertising on IVM. Go to ivmpodcast.com/survey and do let us know. As part of this, we'll be selecting 10 random participants and sending them some IVM swag, so do fill out those surveys.
Hello and welcome to the Habit Coach podcast. I am Ashdin Doctor, your habit coach. And today we're going to have one of those discussions that completely fascinates me. And it's a question that we keep getting so often on Instagram and from our listeners, which is all about happiness. You know, it's something that we all pursue. It is something that we feel that is what our life is supposed to be made up of. And then we get all sorts of wondering about, is happiness possible? Is happiness real? What is the essence of happiness? So today we have with us our guest, Sriram, who is going to talk about happiness habits. And I think that's the perfect, synergy between the habit coach and talking about happiness habits. So Sriram, welcome to the Habit Coach podcast.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Sriram, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into this whole, aspect of happiness and habits?
Sure thing. All right. So I've been in the corporate world for now about 24 years and mostly in HR through that spectrum, and hence have gotten the opportunity to work closely with people, observe behaviors, and see what successes and what performances and what productivities and so on. And then I was able to look at it from my own lens of seeing, okay, how am I doing? And I grew quickly. I worked hard. I grew, but at some points of time, I found that I was not really happy, and so this started bothering me. I was saying that, okay, I'm successful by many metrics that you would, kind of normally consider, but why is it that I don't feel good inside? Okay. And that's what started the, kind of journey of saying, okay, as a corporate professional, looking at it from a lens of today's generation, what is it that I need to really do? And I went through an episode where, things went a little bad, and I realized that, I need to start now. And that prompted me to, go faster into this journey. And as I figured out stuff, I started looking at things, practicing different modalities and so on. There was a formula that I was able to see, which is what I felt was, kind of good for me to kind of put together as a framework. And hence, I started writing my book, Happiness Habits, which is getting launched in a month or so. And through that frame, what we've done is, given small implementable habits for people, because this illusion that happiness is something which is beyond our grasp, something which will happen when something else happens, all of that is really not valid. It happens daily, and you have to do something about it. Then, that's what reaches you there. So that's the way that I've gone about this whole thing. And I've continued to, kind of pursue my, profession as a HR professional, where I'm also able to use some of these learnings as, trainings for my, people in the office, and they gain something out of it. And, I've also been able to get some insights through their responses, and I've, kind of evolved this framework based on that. So that's how this whole thing is. That's evolved. And I'm looking forward to really making a difference to the lives of people like me. Because, there is a certain expectation, there is a certain lifestyle, there's a certain way we do things, and happiness is missing. And really, that's something that we need to crack. This is a time in the entire history of the universe where we are most comfortable. Okay. And yet, if we are not happy, then there's something wrong. And really, it's not that unachievable. I think I'll stop there. And
I absolutely love what you're saying, because we're constantly thinking that, we're achieving. And at the same time, at the end, if you're not really satisfied or happy with what it is, then you're wondering what it is that you're achieving.
Correct.
And I think this is the perfect time for me to ask you your definition of happiness, because that is different for different people as well. So how do you define happiness?
Okay. So that's a difficult question, because, I've looked at it from a broader framework. I've looked at it as saying that when you make progress on certain dimensions, then you reach a state of mind And that state of mind is where you feel good about yourself. You enjoy the moment that in what I'm doing today, I'm happy as a thing. And, your fear and the anxiety that normally kind of pervades you tends to dissipate. So it's in a thing where you are ready for anything that gets thrown at you and still maintain that internal, kind of stability, which, is not that disturbed by what's happening outside. And for me, I think that's that whole state. When you're in that state, then, your approach to life, your ability to deal with stuff, everything kind of improves as a thing. So it's not a concept of ecstasy for me. It's more a concept of, calmness, peace, where I'm able to give my attention to what is happening and really experience life. Life is supposed to be experienced in all its dimensions, in its good and bad situations. But it's more about the fact that can you deal with that and still, kind of feel good.
Understood.
And it's a difficult state. It's not that easy a state to achieve. Okay, but it's possible. And I think that's the message that stuck for me.
I love what you said. It's a difficult state, but it's possible.
Yeah.
And just last week, in fact, somebody on Instagram, we were doing an AMA, Ask Me Anything on Instagram, and one person said, do you think happiness is overrated? And I was like, acha, like, where did you get this concept from? Like, do you think happiness is overrated? What do you mean? What would your answer be to that? Like, do you think happiness is overrated, or at least the pursuit of happiness overrated?
Of course not. I think that's the purpose of our lives. Okay, if you're not going to pursue happiness, what else are you going to pursue? That's because everything else is an illusion. Everything else, nothing is things that you're going to take away from. But if you are happy, you enjoy your life, what happens is that people around you sense that they feel good. Okay, and if you can leave that as your legacy, that's pretty much what you're meant to do as a thing. Because we are all meant to be happy. It's just that we've muddled it up in such a way that, it becomes an occasional blip rather than something that's supposed to be more consistent as a.
But is it a constant thing, or is it a constant thing that you can be in? Can you be in a constant state of happiness?
I don't think I've reached that state. So I don't want to, kind of claim that as a thing. But I know that the possibility is certainly there. For it to be a majority of your time, can you be happy? I think that possibility is certainly on.
Lovely.
Okay. So that's the way I would put it. I think, because you will have situations which are not favorable. But the fact is that if you are in a happy mindset, you're able to recover more quickly. You're able to get back to, a better state faster. So those are the advantages, rather than saying, I think that's not happened to me yet. Maybe it will, I don't know, but not yet. But I know that, majority of the time, your experiences can be more positive.
Lovely.
That is possible.
Lovely. So when people are getting on this journey of happiness, right, they're saying, okay, I'm done with the way that my life is right now, and I want to start getting better, and I want my happiness habits in place.
Yes.
What is the starting point that people should take? Take us through this journey.
All right. So I think the first aspect of this is to really figure out what our, constructs about happiness are today. Because there are a lot of myths. Some of the myths are, money will make me happy. Success will make me happy. Pleasure will make me happy. Okay, control of things will make me happy. Okay, and all of these have certainly some element of comfort which comes through, but they are not the path to your happiness, because these are all external. The moment you are searching for happiness outside, then that's a wild goose chase. You're never going to be able to find it. So the search has to turn inward. That's the first part, which of course all, the wisdom traditions have always spoken about it. It's just been ignored and it's been said, okay, all that is, blah, blah. Somebody is talking about it at some point of time. It doesn't work. But really, that's the truth. That is the fact that we are searching for it outside, and with more materials, more technology, the search for outside comforts has gone up so much that, our dependency on that to make us happy is increasing.
Correct.
And that certainly is not a good strategy. So first is to understand these myths and the mindset that we have around, if this happens, I will be happy. If that happens, I will be happy. And that will happen. And for a moment, you'll be happy. And then, it kind of weans off. And then you're saying, oh, okay, that is too short. Can it be longer? So that's the first part of it, is to really look at it from an angle of what mindset are we approaching happiness? What are our current, systems that are, like our beliefs. We have a lot of beliefs which have been, kind of, way dumped into us by society, by our parents, by our upbringing, and so on. And we use those as the criteria to evaluate, happiness. But none of those are actually valid. The only valid fact is that you need to go inside. You need to, you need to become a better person. When you become a better person, when you're doing some contribution, when you learn to do certain aspects of your life, then your, happiness quotient improves. So that's the first aspect, mindset. Look at it differently. Okay, go search for happiness internal, make that search internal rather than external. Now, coming to the, how do you practically look at it from a frame that I can understand and do something about it? Okay, so then we start with a first, quest that I've, kind of mentioned in the book, Happiness Habits, is about saying better me. Focus on, living a virtuous life, which is virtuous life is basically about, living with good virtues, living with, good character, and invest in that. Invest in becoming the best version of you. Okay. What we can be, what we must be. That's one of the quotes. And so in that journey, what we need to do is to really, we all have flaws. We have shadows. We have, things that we need to get better at. Okay. We will, how we treat people. All human beings are equal, but do we really treat them as well? Okay. We get triggered. We respond poorly. So there are many things that we need to work on ourselves to become that better version. And they are really, the character is the backbone of that. We need to work on that to be able to become a better version. So that's the first track of saying that, focus on becoming a better person on a day-to-day basis and evaluate it from the things that you do, figure out what's important to you and be you. We're not saying you become a different person. Be you, but be the best of you. The second track that we move is...
Let's just pause on this one for a little bit so that we can just, expand on it. So when we say become a better version of me, right? What is the pursuit? Like, how should somebody start thinking about it? Is it like from today onwards, I'll be doing this. From today onwards, I'll be doing that. Like, how should somebody hold it in their mind saying that? Or is it just an idea saying, yeah, I want to become a better person and then move on?
Okay. So we can think of it from a frame of saying, what's important to me? Like, for example, when you ask people, they'll say, okay, integrity is important to me. Honesty is important to me. Being lovable is important to me. Okay. So there are certain things which you can yourself define from your own personality of what's important. For me, for example, treating everybody equally is important to me as a thing. Now, so first frame is to see it from a thing of saying, what do I think is important to me? Okay. Then, because if you even take this point of integrity, then it is to test that, to say, okay, is it just for show or is it real? Because tomorrow, if your company asks you to bribe somebody, will you do it or not? So then that's when the test comes. So if it's, if you're willing to do it, then probably you need to reevaluate and say, it's just, it's an eyewash. I'm really not. And that also may be okay. But that is not something which is really important to you because you're not acting, in sync with that. So then there is a disparity that you'll say, no, but it is important to me. Then, okay, then you need to do something about it. You need to say, these are the things that are important to me. Okay, and those things could be to live with hope, to live with, zest or energy, to live with, to become a master of myself. So you can identify your own virtues of what you want to pursue.
Correct.
Have a frame of saying, how am I really demonstrating these today? Be truthful about it. Then you get a gap. Then it is about filling that gap. of saying. So, for example, in my own case, one of the important things for me is, as I mentioned, I want to treat everybody equally, if it's my team or if it's my thing. But, do I really do that? And then I realized that there are times when, in conversations with people, I come across as being condescending, or I come across as being, aggressive, and that upsets the other person. And then what I need to do to become a better me is to say, I need to correct this. And how do I do it is two ways. One is that I go and tell that person, communicate, saying that, hey, it was not my intention to be this way. And hence, that is not the way I wanted to come across to you. It was just that we were arguing about something. And it was just my way of putting it across as a thing. So you clarify that, which requires introspection to say, hey, I want to be this. I know I didn't show up that way, and I'm willing to do the thing. And then the next time, try and not do it. Mm-hmm. So that's your journey. What's important? Where am I now with respect to those? How am I showing up? Where are the things? Take corrective action when you make those mistakes. Be willing to say, I was wrong, and I want to show up better than what I came across. And then incorporate it in a way saying that every day I will evaluate. And same way, how do I treat the waiter? How do I treat the security? How do I treat everybody else? And then you will know. And what happens when that becomes important is I know when I don't come across in the right way to them. That's an opportunity again to correct it. Okay, so make it important. Know what your gaps are. Be willing to do the difficult things. Because to somebody in my team, if I didn't go and tell them, hey, I didn't show up properly, maybe they may not mind it that much. But for me, it's important.
Correct.
And hence I need to go and change it. That's the difference. Because people say, oh, nobody complained. So what is the thing? So I should be a good person only, right? No, that's not it. Nobody is, you are the watcher. The watcher is in you.
Correct.
Bring the watcher to pay attention to who you should be and live in alignment with who you think you want to be as a thing. Yeah.
I think that's so critical. It's like the Stoic philosophers talking about virtues and character and things like that. And, and it's all about understanding this one thing. What are your principles that you're going to be living your life by?
Yes.
And what you said was so true. Are you embodying those principles or you're not? And my principles are different from your principles. So It is a very, very personal journey that you're on. So understanding it from that lens, saying that I'm not doing this for society, but I'm doing this for myself. And then getting your feedback loop on, did I do it this time? Did I not? What can I improve on? Understood. All right, great. So that is step one.
Yes.
We're going to take a quick break. See you on the other side.
Hello, everybody. It's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Naan Curry, we broadcast our 50th episode. Sadaf and Archit invite one of the best food researchers in the country, Vikram Doctor. They discuss Indian street food, small town delicacies, and the history of our most common food habits. On Smarter with Sid, Siddharth explores how data can be woven into a story through artificial intelligence. On Tere Mere Raste, Keshav takes us to Dehradun, a city whose foundations were laid by a Sikh guru, and tells us how his famous basmati rice was introduced to it by an Afghan king living there in exile. On Cyrus Says, Cyrus is joined by former Indian cricketers and hosts of the Khel Niti podcast, Sabah Karim and Nikhil Chopra, to talk about tons and tons of cricket. Tune in for a very fun episode. And don't miss the festive season special on the Habit Coach podcast, where Ashdin Doctor talks about how our eating habits change during festivals. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors on the network this week: Cred, Bank of Baroda, Quarter, CoinSwitch, Kuber, Slate Coffee, Intel, Kotak Mahindra Bank, and Oxfam India. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Welcome back. Let's jump into the conversation. Super. All right. Step 2.
Okay. So we move on to the next quest, which is called purpose, pursuit of purpose. Okay. And this, of course, is very interesting.
This is a big one because I keep getting questions on, Ashdin, I don't have my purpose. I'm 19 and I don't have my purpose, and all sorts of people. You have people from 60 who say I don't have my purpose, and 19 who say I don't have my purpose. Tell me about this.
So, okay, this is my own theory. And of course, based on several experiments and readings that I've done. So I am looking at it from 2 tracks. One is the track of expression. The track of expression is to identify what you're really good at and really bring that to the fore. And, kind of pursue it relentlessly till you've really, kind of done the best you can with that particular talent. Okay, that's first track of expression. Second track is around experience. We're all here to experience life. The experience is meant to teach us something and make us learn something and grow. Okay, and that experience is about how life is, teaching you certain things which you're meant to learn. When you learn that, okay, you're living your purpose. So it's a two-pronged thing, because often purpose kind of is only looked at from a lens of, professional accomplishment in many ways, right? I've not seen it that way, because there are so many people who are, doing other things and so on. So this is a two-pronged thing, but both these exist. First is to work with your unique talent. The second is the fact that life is meant to teach you something. Can you learn what it is that, and how do you do these? Now, the second part of that answer is for each of these. Now, okay, fine, I buy this to an extent. What do I do? Right? For your unique talent, for me, it is in a way, it's like something being hidden in plain sight. It's there, it's around you, you know it at times, but it's never, kind of right in front of you, kind of solved and said, oh, okay, this is your purpose, go do this kind of a thing. But because it is around your unique skill, it is not a skill that you're going to develop in 40. It is something which is there with you and through you. So you have to pay attention to the things that you are like to engage with, that makes you come alive, things that you've done well in the past, things that others are doing that you resonate with, okay, and so on. So those are your clues of saying, okay, what's this unique thing? And then you'll know, and it is not in the field of a particular thing. It could be anything. It could be in music. You're doing podcasts. Now, there is a clue to that as a thing, right? So there is this whole clues which are hidden, but there for you to see and you to think. Now, what happens is sometimes we know what our unique talent is, but we are stuck in what we are doing, saying that, oh, but I know I want to be a musician, but then I want to be able to earn so much money. Who said? You don't know, but you're not willing to take that risk. Then you don't pursue it. You wait for something to derail. And then you're forced to saying, okay, then maybe you'll try something else again. That also doesn't work. You say, okay, finally I give up. I'm not cut out for this. I should go back and do this. And today in COVID, I think a lot of people have had that opportunity because people are getting that much time. So that's the first part in terms of how you tap out that unique talent, pursue it, invest in it, see what comes out of it. And nobody's asking you to quit your job. They're saying pursue it, test it, see where it takes you. See if you can bring some elements of it into your current job, grow it. Some doors will open, some things will change, and you will become clearer. Maybe from there, it leads you somewhere else to finally, to hit that sweet spot of, okay, I am good at this and I really enjoy doing this. Lovely. And it makes me come alive.
This is so important because people keep saying that, how do I start my passion project? I know what I want to do. I know the business that I want to start, but how? And that's exactly it. Start small. Yeah. You don't have to quit your job, but start doing something along the line. Yes. Perfect. Sorry, continue, Sriram.
So the second part is around experiencing, right? Now there, the clues are hidden in your pain. The clues are hidden in where you are blocked. Where is it that things are not working? So in your life, what is not working for you? Is it in relationship? Is it in work? Is it in health? Is it in some other place? Where are your pain points? The pain points give you the clues to see, okay, what is it that I'm not doing right, which is then causing me this pain? Okay. And to dive a little bit deeper into that aspect of saying, okay, maybe I'm holding on to a lot of resentment. And that's then causing, acidity for me. That's then causing, pain for me. And that's causing a break in my relationships as a thing. Then the pain points give you the clue of saying, okay, then what do I do? You need to learn to let go of that resentment. You need to learn forgiveness. You need to learn gratitude. Okay. When you do that, then that particular issue lightens up. It starts disappearing. It starts reducing. Then okay, this is on my right track. Okay. And especially there is a theme, because most people live their entire life without understanding this. That some people, for example, anger is something that they need to heal. Okay. And then when their focus is completely external, they're always trying to say, okay, I'm judging you, I'm complaining, I'm blaming you, etc. But never understanding that this is causing me pain. My being angry is causing me pain. I need to get rid of this. I need to see how I can solve this. When you go on that journey of trying to do something, then you start working on yourself. And you say, okay, this is not easy. I've been like this throughout my life. So what do I do? Then you say, okay, there are steps you can do. You can learn to do forgiveness through journaling. You can do meditation. You can do breath work. You can do other forms of therapy if required. A whole bunch of things can be done as a thing. So when you learn these two things, these are your, two weapons. That unique skill, maximize that expression in your experience of life. Keep looking at what life is trying to teach you and, kind of work on that aspect. When you improve on that, then these are interlinked. As you work on this, you release your resentment, you release your anger, you focus on your, unique skill improves much further. You go some steps, you'll hit another barrier. But it's like an onion peel. Okay, this is not, often we want one thing. Oh, okay, done. This is it, right? But it's not like that. The whole learning happens in cycles. You will hit a small thing. Once you pursue it, things get better. Then you will hit another thing. Then okay. But by the time you realize that you're on the right path because something's improved, then you go deeper and say, oh, okay, I'm getting stuck again. That means that, there's something more to be done in this space. Okay. For example, one of the things that for me that I need to work on is to be able to appreciate more, to be able to, be more expressive about my love. Okay. And I'm very, very bad at it throughout but that's the lesson. I'm getting that message, but, and every time it's coming from the office, it's coming from home, saying that, hey, you need to work on it. So then I do something. Then I say, okay, I'm going to try something new. So I leave some chits for my wife, on the mirror saying that, hey, I appreciate this, because it doesn't come naturally. I appreciate her, but I don't tell it. Okay. And then, I have to do some of these things as a thing for that, to bridge that gap. And once I do that, and suddenly something will shift. You see that, oh, okay, something is changing because of that. I need to do more of it. Okay. And then you can even set targets. For example, a simple thing that I do is also to say, okay, one of my to-dos in my office is to appreciate one person every day. Okay. And if I forget it a few days, it's okay. But it's always there in front of me to remind me, saying that, hey, this is a thing that you need to work on it, get better at it as a thing. So the pursuit of purpose is really coming from these two streams, saying that, learn, grow, become better, express, keep expressing, get better at it, and as you do each of these, things come clearer. But this is not like a instant 2-minute noodle. This takes time because life is meant to be thing. It's not, see, the end of the movie, we know that we will die. Okay, that's the end is thing. But
oh my God, you just gave the ending away. Oh no.
So the script is what is important. Correct. Right? And unveiling that is really the journey. And so we don't have to be in a hurry, but we need to be in the pursuit, the journey.
What you said is so powerful because, and I was enjoying the examples that you were giving because they were nothing but habits, right? Create little notes for your wife, show appreciation as a habit, show appreciation to your team members as a habit, and how you're doing it with a to-do list. I think that is stuff that we can take away and immediately start implementing also. So I think that's very, very critical. Lovely. I like that idea of pursuit being something that, you know that you're good at, that you've seen, and what are you learning and what is your pain point that you're growing from. Absolutely brilliant. All right. So number 3.
All right. So number 3 is a big one. And this is really about balance. And we need to look at life as different dimensions. We give undue importance to work and career, but that is only one aspect of our lives. We have to look at life as a broader spectrum. Okay. There is health, there's career, there are relationships, there's abundance, there is self-care, there is spirituality, there is parenting, there is social. So that's all these dimensions. Now, the way to be happy is to not ignore any of these dimensions and invest in all of them. But you don't need to invest equally in all of them at the same time. So there are two aspects here. One, look at your life from all these dimensions. Make sure they're balanced and at a level that you want it to be. But at a certain point of time, your priority may be a certain dimension, and you can invest more in that dimension, but make sure that the other dimensions are not ignored or they don't go below a certain threshold. When you do that, then you are, likely, because what happens, and this is a very, very thing, right? Because we see this so often at work that, burnouts and things like that. It's all happening because your focus on work is so much more disproportional than, the rest of your life. And when you've not prioritized and, budgeted time for these things, then, and your only focus becomes work, then the rest of it suffers. Your health suffers. Okay. Your relationships suffer. Okay. Your self-care suffers. And then obviously unhappiness, kind of sprouts. And we are one person. You cannot divide you into saying, oh, when I come to office, I will be a completely different person. Sometimes you do that switch, that there is a switch some people can do. But at the back of your head, if your relationship is not going well, that is troubling you. That is not going to let you be in flow. That's not going to help with your focus. It is going to bother you, and only if you remove that, then you have your complete attention available to do what you want to do now. People ignore this a lot of time, and then they say, oh, okay, relationship is going, but we know for a fact that when relationships are not going well, a top performer, suddenly, you can see the dip.
Correct. Absolutely.
That's
really happened in my life as well. I completely agree with you. Do you have a list of dimensions that you should be focusing on?
On the dimensions?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is there a set list, or is it different for different people?
No, I think, it's a set list mostly. Mm-hmm. It's health, relationship, career. Career, abundance or wealth, social life, spiritual life, parenting, and self-care.
These 8.
Yes.
Right? So these are things that you should focus on, at least look at from your life, saying which one are more focused on, which ones are less focused on.
Right. And for example, I'm not very social. For me, the scale on 10 that I want to be on social can be 6. But I need to be at 6. That's the point. That if I'm not, then I become anti-social. Then that causes, a different, kind of pain as a thing. And again, these are also about, you need to look at, for example, when my first daughter was born, she was premature. And at that point of time, parenting needed attention. So I couldn't focus on social. I couldn't focus, on even career to a large extent. But that point of time, that was most critical. So my priority reduced, and I said, I consciously know I'm kind of reducing my attention on other aspects because I need to do more on this. And at certain points, you can switch. Maybe, okay, right now I'm writing my book. So then there is a little bit of higher priority I give to that through my self-care dimension and so on. So you can do those shifts as a thing, but the threshold should not, ever go below a certain limit, and then, that causes pain.
Beautiful. All right, lovely. Focus on your dimensions.
Yeah.
Sriram, how can people get in touch with you? How can people buy your book, follow you? What are the ways in which people can stay in touch with you?
So my book is The Happiness Habits. I'm launching it on November 24th. And we have a website called happinesshabits.in, which has all the information that's required about the book. I have some free resources, and we are bundling in a whole bunch of resources for people who are going to buy the book. Because a lot of these things that we're talking about need some material for you to be able to track it and manage it effectively. So all that is going to be given free along with the book, because the intention is not for you to buy the book and keep it. Even if you're going to do, 2 things from the book, okay, that's good enough. But it is about taking action. Definitely. And to enable taking action, there are a bunch of resources which we've put there. And I'm going to keep adding stuff over there so that it gives people the opportunity to, kind of engage with it better and keep making progress. So the book has all the this website has all the contact information that is required. And my personal email is also available for people to reach out to me. It's srsriram.com@gmail.com. srsriram@gmail.com, sorry. So people can write into me, and and I'm happy to respond to people as a thing. So that's what it is. I hope people buy the book and benefit from it, because I do feel that there's going to be at least a few things that people will resonate with, and it will make a difference.
Superb. Best of luck. Make sure that you do buy Sriram's book. Check it out. Happiness Habits, releasing 24th November. Superb. Sriram, thank you so much for coming on the Habit Coach podcast. It was absolutely brilliant having you here.
Thank you, Ashdin. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So that was Sriram, and we were talking about our happiness habits. Do check out his book. It's called Happiness Habits. It's going to be launched on the 24th of November. We have a second part of this episode coming out soon. So stay tuned and listen to that, because we talk about the remaining steps towards getting happiness as your habit. If you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on social media. We are at IVM Podcasts on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, I am Ashdin Doc on Twitter and Instagram. You can find lots more information on my website, awesome180.com, or check out different content on my YouTube channel called AWESOME180. That's Awesome180.
Namaste, this is Cyrus Brocha. I am part of the government cancel culture program to remove rubbish off all the different streams available. So what we have is all the collected rubbish we put together on our show. It's called Cyrus Says. It's on IVM Podcast. You have to watch it and listen to it. It's on our app. It's on our website. It's on the YouTube channel. It's on Facebook. There are many different ways. Don't bother me and ask me how. You have to find out. We talk to different personalities. Many of them are known. Some are just people we meet downstairs and invite them up for chai. But the point is, it's fun and it's very therapeutic. So please join in and listen to Cyrus Says.
If you're a cricket fan, check out Edges and Sledges, India's favorite cricket podcast.
The podcast focuses on Indian cricket, the IPL, and has a ton of banter both on and off the field.
We talk about the week's biggest cricket stories with current and ex-international cricketers, coaches, or sometimes just between us.
And it's hosted by me, DJ.
Me, Varun.
And me, Ashwin.
New episodes release every week.
You can catch us on the IVM Podcast's website, app,
or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Check out the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast.